everybody. Karen Roby here with Kristen Lotze for Tech Republic. Kristen, thanks for being with me here today.
Thank you for having me.
Sure. So this is a fun thing to chat about because, with so many people being in lockdown or working from home, but just having a little more time on their hands, maybe not being able to go out and do so many things out in the community that we would normally do, people are finding more time to read. And you've put up some great lists here on Tech Republic for some recommendations for books. And this latest bunch, recommendations from Tech Titans. I really like this. So on this list, just give us a couple of them highlight that really stood out to you.
Yeah, absolutely. This was actually a really fun list to put together. In terms of highlighting some titles, I would say one of them is definitely Trillion Dollar Coach. That was recommended by the CEO of Alphabet Inc., Sundar Pichai. And he's actually, this particular title has been recommended by several of the tech titans on this list. It was also a New York Times and Wall Street Journal bestseller. So that's definitely, a good one to check out. And then I would also say Mindset, which was recommended by Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft. This particular title, he's explained, in several interviews how influential this book was to him and how much it changed his management style. So it's definitely a good one, for potential leaders to check out and see if it, does anything for them. And it's a good one to read.
Yeah, most definitely. And that's the good thing, you never know. But if you find people that are amazing leaders, and obviously with this list, obviously some of the biggest tech titans around, to things that have influenced them could certainly be of great advantage to you to read. So what else? Anything else that stood out maybe in particular to you on the list too?
Yeah, actually, I think another title that stood out to me was it's called "Drop the Ball," and that was recommended by the Facebook COO Sheryl Sandberg. She basically, wrote a review and said, this particular book shows how everyone benefits when men work toward equality, and how our relationships and lives are richer when we, all lean in together. So it's definitely another title that I obviously is very influential to, a tech leader. So something to consider.
Yeah, definitely. And coming from a female, and her perspective may be very different, her
Absolutely.
encounters and her career path, certainly different than some others. Well, I guess, one of the obvious questions here is when there's so many to choose from, so many titles out there. And one thing I do love is that people, at a certain level, especially, some leaders in tech, they do like to share the knowledge that they have and,
For sure.
things like this. So how did you even begin to narrow this list down?
That's a great question. It was honestly a pretty big challenge. That might have been the hardest part, was because, like you said, there are so many influential people in the tech world, and how do you pick from 100 different options and say, like, well, these are the people that you need to listen to. And obviously everyone is entitled to do their own research and look into titles by or recommendations by anyone else. The way I picked these was I went through and just kind of wanted to find some of the more well-known names of well-known companies, people that are definitely have shown huge signs of success in the course of their careers. And so I kind of started with the people that I wanted to use as their recommendations for. And Bill Gates has a blog, and he recommends books constantly, and you can find books on just about any topic from him that that he recommends. So obviously he was going to be a big one to include. But once I narrowed down who was on the list, I just kind of went through and tried to find the books that they found most influential. Felt like, if they found them influential and they found success with those things, then, hopefully anybody can. So
Yeah,
that's just kind of the process that I went through with it.
Yeah, and that's the great part, is that so many people are willing to share their knowledge and how they pick up little bits and pieces from different places, especially from books, Kristen. And the good news here too is that this isn't the only list that we have on Tech Republic.
No, it is not. We actually have several different options. There are, recommendations for helping companies improve workplace diversity and inclusion. We have career books for developers, leadership books that every manager should read, and, books on artificial intelligence. So there's a lot of different topics covered and a lot of different recommendations, just depending on what you're looking for. So hopefully anybody can find the book that works best for them.
Yeah, that's right. Or try a couple, right? So
Right, exactly. Why not? You don't limit yourself to one. That's.
yeah, most certainly. We have more time on our hands. Let's admit it. Just like I said at the
Absolutely.
beginning, we're not going to concerts and all of those kind of things
Very true.
anymore. So that is the trade-off. Maybe we'll gain a little more knowledge than we would have before. Kristen, thanks so much for putting this list together. And
Okay.
all of those lists that Kristen mentioned, those can be found, of course, on Tech Republic. And we will hope you check out all of those there. We appreciate you watching us here today.